been almost 10 years since the September 11th attack, and many people are using this anniversary to reflect on the past 10 years. But some were too young to remember September 11th, 2001. WVUA's Sarah Chovnick spoke with local fifth graders who were only months old at the time of the attacks.
It was nearly 10 years ago, but many Americans can still remember what they were doing when they heard the towers had been hit. Some were too young to remember.
I remember later on when I was older, we talked about it in school, what had happened and all the details. They told us that the terrorists had bombed the Twin Towers in New York City and that a lot of people had died, heroes.
I know that the Twin Towers fell at different times, and there were people that died on that day.
I know that one plane was fixing to hit the Capitol, but it flew over, and they knew they were going to die anyway, but they landed in Pennsylvania.
Ann Campbell, who was teaching third grade in 2001, says she will never forget that day.
I remember stepping across to ask a teacher a question, and she was watching it on TV. I said, "Well, what movie are you showing your class?" And she said, "No, this is actually taking place right now in America." And I remember having to tell my students about what had happened, what they were going to hear when they got home, what they were going to see on the news. I had to explain what the word terrorist meant.
For parents like Kinsley's father, who was in the Navy, the news meant change.
When he had to pack up as soon as he heard about it, and then that's why he had to go to Iraq. He says how proud he is about the firefighters and the police that came in the ambulance.
Teachers say it's important to educate the post-9/11 generation and never let the memory of that day die.
It is part of history, so it's up to us to educate students in history. Let them know these things happen, and I tell my students all the time, they are the future, they are the world, they can make changes.
In Tuscaloosa County, Sarah Chovnick, WVUA News.
Teachers like Ann Campbell have used this week to teach students about what it means to be a hero.